Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, I collect information from many different places and many different people. If you hear yourself in our conversation today, please remember it is not all about you. Try to look at it this way. The more information you can collect and the more people you can listen to, the better you are at discerning and making great choices as leaders. Today, I'm going to look at the word success. And I'm going to look at it from a different standpoint than I've ever done before. You see, when people ask me to describe what does it mean to be a success, I think it has many different legs. First of all, what does it mean to be a success, to be a successful person in yourself? Now, in my world, I have many different roles. I'm a husband, a father, a son. I'm a business owner. I'm someone who works with other people in their companies. I have many different roles, so I believe those things start to say to yourself, well, which one am I a success in, or how do I determine a success in all of them? Well, I have to encourage you to do that on your own. You see, for each of us, it means something different. I have a good friend who always reminds me that money should not be the determining factor as whether or not you're a success or not. He always reminds me of our grandfather who, didn't have much, but he was an excellent carpenter. And his success really was the legacy he left behind in his family and his craft that he taught those of us who are willing to learn. That in his world and in my world, I called him very successful. But let me give you some guidelines, I think, to help you when you're going through this searching process of answering, what does success mean to me? First of all, I'm going to encourage you greatly to remember that yesterday's mistakes are learning tools. Now, I don't say that lightly because some of the mistakes I have made, quite frankly, have cost me both financially and friendships. What did I learn from them, though, is what I never want to do again. You see, those questions that my grandfather used to ask is, what did you learn from that and what would you do different, really are how I look at what I call mistakes. They turn into learning tools when you put them into your learning opportunity and you turn a negative into a positive. This is not always easy, and sometimes I have to tell you that it has been quite painful to do so. The greatness of it is this, that learned at an early age, I have been able to go and correct and do my best not to do them in that order again. So don't let your yesterday's mistakes be anything but learning tools. I'm going to encourage you to enjoy each and every experience as a brand new adventure. You see, we're very lucky. When you wake up in the morning, roll your feet out of bed and put them on the floor, a grand new adventure is going to open before you. Now, can I promise that everyone's going to be a fun and exciting and, with no drudgery? Well, no, I can't promise that. What I can promise is that no matter what happens during that day, if you look at it through an adventurous eye, it can all turn into a positive experience. I recall when we were traveling out west and it said turn down this dirt road to go to the national monument that was supposedly back there. Well, after 15 miles on that dirt road, it turned a little muddy. And yes, we did get stuck. The positive part about it is we met some really nice people who were willing to help us out. And we continued on to the National Monument, had a great time, and on the way back, they made sure that we went through that nasty section and got out safely. We're still friends. Positive experience. So every new day can create a new adventure for you if you allow it. Pretty exciting, don't you think? Oh, now this next one. As leaders, which we all are, I'm going to encourage you to discover what really drives you and makes you come alive. You see, when you can really discover what that is, what makes you get up in the middle of the night and get excited about going to work or going to do something or make something or whatever the action is that you're taking, when it wakes you up like that and you're excited and you know that this is the thing that makes you come alive, the people around you will notice it. They'll get excited for you and with you. And it'll change the way your life starts to take. You see, those two things of every experience is an adventure and discovering what truly makes you come alive kind of go together. But if you're struggling with that, if you're struggling with knowing for a fact what makes you come alive, please give me a call. Let's work on it. Let me help you help yourself find out exactly what that is. We've got some tools that will help you, and I guarantee once you find out, it'll change the way you wake up in the morning and maybe not go to sleep at night. It's pretty amazing stuff. I'm going to encourage you to, well, watch who you hang around by building your sphere of excellence. Oh, man. You see, this sphere of excellence, that belongs to people who are quicker, faster, better than you are. But it also is people that care about you. This sphere of excellence or influence, however you want to put it. There was a great man who once said is that in 5 years, he'll know exactly who you are by the books you read and the people you associate with. He went on to say that he could almost predict how much your yearly earnings were by the earnings of those people that you're associating with. I've come to find out that that's really a true statement. Now, people ask me all the time, well, Dick, how do I create this sphere of influence if, well, I get up, go to work, come home, go to work. I mean, they ask me all the time, how do I do that? Well, quite frankly, I'm going to tell you that you have to be intentional about doing it. And you have to put yourself in places where they're at. Now, for me, that's been professional organizations and things like that I've had to put myself in place. And sometimes I have to tell you that I felt really out of place until I started to make those relationships and build bridges between people. It's not easy. The thing I'm sharing with you is success really has some intricate parts and pieces that go along with it. So that's why I'm encouraging you to take and really look at your mistakes as learning tools, to look at your experiences, adventures, and to really dig deep and find out what drives you and makes you come alive. You see, this sphere of influence and excellence will help you do exactly those things. I had a mentor once who told me that I should try to be, well, I should dream bigger. I should be bolder and be able to take more risk. And I need to take actions. He said over and over that having my vision, my future picture and my mission, why I was here put on this earth, they were all well and good. But if I didn't put them to work, that they just were never going to come true. So dreaming big became part of who and what I wanted to do and accomplish. You see, that was part of how I kind of judged myself as a success or not. So dreaming big became part of a fun time for me. I started placing things in my journal that were way ahead of my time, so to speak. I put down that I wanted to become a speaker on TV and radio, and I wanted to have a best-selling book. Growing up on the dead-end street, I have to tell you that to my folks, those were huge dreams that they did never seem possible. Fortunately, I was able to get there. It only took me about 60 years to get that first book and become a bestseller. But I'll tell you what, it was been an adventure that's been fun. To be bold was to go out on a limb and just really leave where I was. That dead end street. Be bold enough to take the chance, take the risk, and do something different than what was expected of me. And the taking of the action, that was hard. You see, I had to leave back behind some friends. I had to leave behind some family. I had to move on. I had to take action with that bold and big dream. Success? What's it mean to you? Only you can decide that. All right. Now, all of you have probably read a map at one time or another. Maybe you went on a trip and you pulled out a map and you said, well, this is where I'm going. And you made an X on it or something, and you figured out how was the best roads to get there. And then when you started driving on those roads, you found out that, oh my goodness, that road was closed. I'm going to have to take a detour. I'm going to have to go someplace else. That's exactly what I'm encouraging you to do. Lay out your map. Discover your own personal compass. Your personal compass is going to be, quite frankly, your values and your morals. And how you get someplace is going to depend on how you put those to work. Now, if you've kind of figured out your vision, your future picture of where you want to end up, how you want to be, and those kind of things, that's like making a map. And so you've placed a mark on the map of where you want to end up. You've looked at your mission, your purpose, why you're here on earth, and you've said, well, gee, I'm going to live my life through this mission to achieve my vision. And then you've said, I've got to do something else. I've got to follow a map, which is my plan. And here's the thing. Plans may change with ages and stages. Your mission and vision probably will not. On our last big adventure, Miss Robin and I were driving down the road to a road that was flooded. We couldn't go any farther. The people behind us were all upset, and we just backed up. We talked to several of them, and there was a road off to my left. And I thought, these people live here. There must be a way to get around this flooded portion. The other people went back and drove all the way back to wherever they came from. We took that first left, down and around, drove through the woods, came out on the other side of the flood, and there we were. An adventure. Yeah, take action. It could have ended out we had to drive all the way back, but what did we have to lose? What was the risk we were willing to take? That's really the part of changing how you're going to get to where you're going. Didn't change where we ended up. We just changed how we got there. One of the biggest things that we work with people is for letting them learn what the triggers are and what triggers their attitudes, whether positive or negative, and then how to work with those. You see, those attitudes sometimes are the make or break situation in your life. I'm not going to tell you life is always easy and roses and all the rest of that stuff that people try to tell you. I won't, because life happens, and sometimes you just get flat knocked down. It's how you handle it that makes the difference. And it's how you put it to work that will take and be your character. It'll also be how people look at your legacy. All right. So knowing what your triggers are become really important. My grandfather said over and over again when I was growing up, and I'm very thankful that he did raise me, that he would say that pain is temporary, he'd say. Those blisters on your hands, they'll go away, they'll make calluses, and you won't get any more. But he said achievements, they're permanent. Pain is temporary. Achievements are permanent. You see, what he was trying to say was, are you willing to go through the pain to get to the glory? Are you willing to take and do what needs done to get to where you want to go? He was trying to really instruct me that, that this part of pain is temporary, but achievement is permanent. I can go back to where I dug all those fence posts, strung all that barbed wire that's still there. Achievement's permanent. The pain is temporary. Those blisters healed, and they got to be calluses. Good enough? I'm going to encourage you to look at your daily big dream. And I'm going to ask you to look at your big dream and start breaking it down into small little bite-sized pieces. But this is the thing about doing something daily. You really need, well, I'm going to even say must, keep track of it. You have to be accountable for what those things are happening. The very best way is to keep that journal. Now, if you're not used to keeping a journal to kind of hold yourself accountable, let me give you some helpful hints. Pages got 2 pages, a left and a right. I know you know that. On the right side page, keep track of what happened during the day. Good, bad, ugly, who you met, who you talked to, where you went, how much money you spent, all the rest of that happy stuff that happened during the day. But on the left, I want you to jot down the things that you accomplished towards your goals or towards your dreams. Whether it was just one little thing. I try to put those action items, I call them, on my daily to-do list, and I try to knock those out first, by the way. Then the rest of the day, I'm working on whatever needs to come up or what I need to do, but every day I'm working towards that goal. Many people say, well, Dick, how do you write so many books? Well, I knock that out first thing in the morning. 6 to 9 o'clock, you sit down and read. You sit down and write. And that's just something you have to really, you just have to be persistent and you have to get it done. And so I jog in my journal what I got done that day, and on the next page I kind of write what I need to get done. That pushes me forward, writing that book, or writing a speech, or going to a location to speak in front of people, or what it is I'm up against at that different time. Change it in from a drudgery to a fun piece. That's the key. All right. Record them though. Record your little bits that you're doing moving towards your vision, your dream. One of the things that I think that is most important in today's world is to know your non-negotiables. To know exactly what you will not do. By that I mean that, well, an example would be this. I worked for a large organization and I was the director of education. And the company, the corporate, wanted me to cut corners and really, instead of a 7-day class, make it a 5-day class. Instead of a 5-day class, make it a 3-day class. And they wanted me to chop out different pieces of the learning material. I saw it as a safety situation, that this would cause more accidents because people wouldn't be trained thoroughly. They saw it strictly as a money situation. I could not do that. It was against my morals, and I just couldn't do it. So I ended up retiring. At the beginning, I tried to bring reality to them. I tried to go in and find people to back me and all those different kind of things. But I realized the corporation had changed, and I was being left behind, and it was time for me to go. The unfortunate part about that is the safety violations that happened after I left caused some fatalities. And that still haunts me to this day. Could I have done more? Should I have done more? But it was against my inner peace, so I had to leave. Not easy. Know what your non-negotiables are. It's very important that you're able to communicate those to those around you, and the reason why, and then have the courage to stand by them. That in itself will not be an easy task for any of you. But I believe in our world today that we need to do more of this instead of just accepting what's handed down. Well, I'll get off my soapbox about that because it's still a sore subject with me. Leaders, when you're looking at success, I want you to think about fear. And I want you to look at fear, that fear can be your very best friend if you allow it. You see, fear, when we look at it and we really start to delve into it and peel back the layers of the onion, so to speak, we find out that it's some core belief or action that has happened. And we can probably look at it and find out an explanation for it, rather than move into fight or flight mode, which is what is expected of us in America. I believe there's another choice that we can make. We can look at that fear and then find out why. That's going to mean you're going to have to ask questions, and that in itself will probably turn some people on their ears. Quite frankly, asking questions is a scary thing for people, and you really need to know how that affects them. So if you're feeling fearful about something, please take a moment, find out what it is, dig into it, dig down on it, and really locate the reason why. Is it fabricated or is it real? So take a look at it. Leaders, what we've looked at here, and quite frankly, what I've tried to encourage you to do today, is look at success from a different situation. What does success mean to you? And by that I mean is, I'm going to tell you the truth. When you truly believe that you are a success, you truly believe that you've had successes in the past, it will change the way you react and move forward. You see, our brain is a funny thing. It really starts to enjoy the good things and the positive things that we put into it. It doesn't really understand the negative things, but it stores them anyhow. But what we found out over and over in every leadership organization I've ever worked with is what people put in is what they get out. Many years ago, when computers first came in, there was a saying, garbage in, garbage out. And then, quite frankly, that's still true with your brain. So if you find someone who is saying, I'm not a success, that they're in the poor little old me stage of life where everything is someone else's fault, which we hear a lot in today's world today. Everybody playing the blame game and saying, this is me. I take responsibility for myself, and good or bad, I take responsibility on that. I believe if you're going to be successful, you can't play that name game. You've got to stand up and be accountable. Let me kind of go over these quickly. These are very important on how you would make that decision, the discernment process of be a success. 1, don't let yesterday's mistakes be anything but learning tools. Number 2, enjoy every experience as an adventure. Number 3, discover what really drives you and makes you come alive. Now, that's a good. Number 4, build your sphere of influence. You do it. Be intentional. Build your sphere of influence. Oh, man. Dream big, be bold, take action. Now, if you forget everything else I said today, write that down. Share it with others. Dream big, be bold, take action. Because quite frankly, my friends, that's what it's all about. Get out a map. Get out a piece of paper. Take and put an X on it and lay out your own personal map. Mark down on it your vision, your future picture. Mark down on it your mission, what your purpose is, your calling. And then start writing some plans of how you're going to accomplish it. If you saw our walls in here behind this big screen, you would take and see a whiteboard that's just full of a map. And we use it all the time. I have a personal map. I have a map for my career, my business. We have a map for the TV program, for the radio program. We have a map for darn near everything. And then we have one big one that just puts it all together. Did it come overnight? No. Will yours? No. Does it need to happen? Yes. All right. So get that map out there and get it to work. Where are we here now? Okay. Realize what triggers your attitudes and how to work with them, positive and negative. Remember what Grandpa said, that pain is temporary, but achievement is permanent. Break your dreams into daily actions and record them. Know your own non-negotiables. Fear can be your very best friend if you let it. And the last one, reinventing yourself, is growing in knowing who you really are and where you're going. And it's the most fun too, just let you know. I see our time is growing short like always, and I want to take and say this, that on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope and desire is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Give us a call, 727-422-1833. Send me an email, dick@ewfw.org. Go to that website and spend some time, and there's a place to send me a note there. Go to www.ewfw.org. And, when you're ready to have myself, the Leadership Wrangler, come to your location and put on a leadership and accountability opportunity, give us a call, send us an email. But I'm going to encourage you to get on that list and do it quickly. We book up real fast over the year. But I want to say one last thing. ride hard, ride fast.